Sheikh, my question is a little bit long, but I'll try and keep it brief, so please be patient with me.
I beg you,
So,
please make it as short as possible.
okay. So there's a young Muslim mother who's 23 years old. She has 2 children under the age of 3. She's separated from her husband and isn't likely to reunite with him. And there might have been some domestic violence. She found out that she's pregnant and doesn't want her baby. Now she doesn't have good mental health, and the problem is her 2 children have a health condition where if they're not fed properly, they're at risk of death. And the child protection, they monitor her, and if she doesn't meet the requirements of, giving the children nourishment, they might take the children away. So her new child that she's pregnant with is likely to have the same condition, and she doesn't think that she can cope with having another baby on her own and doesn't have good family support. And if her children are taken away from her, it's possible that they won't even be put with other Muslims, like with other relatives of hers or other Muslims at all. So the children can be given back to her if they are taken away, if she's shown to have good progress. So basically, under her circumstances, would she be allowed to have an abortion?
How old is the pregnancy?
I'm not exactly sure, unfortunately. I don't have that information.
Okay, first of all, these situations, Akhi, cannot be answered over the phone. There are so many details that need to be investigated. But in a nutshell, because we don't have the capacity to go into details and to talk to the sister and to see the background and the circumstances of her situation, it is not permissible to abort a pregnancy after it is 40 days of age. Because now it is, the majority of scholars say that this is haram. Before the age of 40 days, it's an issue of dispute. I'm inclined to say that this is like taking the after pill. So 40 days or less, you can opt for abortion without any sin, inshallah. After that, this becomes prohibited unless there is proof that there is real potential, genuine risk on the mother's life. Secondly or thirdly, I've lost count, in her case, I would highly recommend that she book tickets and flee the country. This country is known to be hostile towards Muslims, like many other countries. And they would do anything to abduct your children. And in a heartbeat, they would give them to Christian families and they would be happy. And to challenge this, you would probably take 2 or 3 years in their court. And if you were to win, the harm had already been done. And I know cases that came to me for counseling. Alhamdulillah, the brother won. And he got his child back. But after what? After false accusation from the nurse that they were abusing their own child, and they are practicing Muslims. And I told this brother, I don't know if he's watching or not, to just flee the country. Don't stay there. Your capital is your Islam, and then your family. So I would highly recommend that she runs away from that country, at least until she gets her things settled. If this is not possible, my second option would be, as an advice, is for her to give her own 2 children to Muslim families for temporarily adoption of 5 to 10 years, explaining her case and documenting it with the government so that they would not file any legal cases against her or do anything. Now their hands are tied. So legally, they can't abduct her children anymore. And trying to bear with her 3rd child coming, making dua that Allah makes him healthy and not having that same disease, Allah is capable of doing that, and Allah knows best.